Time for some slippity slop. Idubbbz just lost everything.
Okay, we got an update to the whole Idubbbz situation. Basically, if you didn't know, Idubbbz is hosting an event called Creator Clash 3, and it's essentially a boxing event where influencers will fight each other and the excess money goes to charity. Only problem is, it is completely failing. Their main fighter, Harley, just pulled out of the event, meaning there is no main fight. They are canceling seats left and right because nobody is attending. They're even desperately trying to invite anyone to
Philion, why don't you box? I can't be around this level of soy. Why would I do something for charity? I want to be poor? Please, I'm a gladiator.
fight on the event like Ice Poseidon, and literally inviting their own enemies like Tectone, who has an ongoing beef with Frogan, who is a known friend of Idubbbz. And all this while Ace3 is just making fun of all of them constantly after being backstabbed. And obviously we have the usual Hasan updates where he's just crashing out over random shit. Now if you're around a couple years ago, you probably remember the previous Creator Clash, which actually made no money. In fact, it lost $250,000, and apparently not a single cent actually went to charity, because Idubbbz and his wife Anissa were completely incompetent at their job, and despite having very popular influencers at their event, they mismanaged the finances and ended up screwing over everyone.
We lost $250,000 on the event. Once our expenses are paid off for the event, then we can start paying the charities. Unfortunately,
chat, this is an L, am I right? Big L. Creator Clash L.
we didn't even reach the break-even point, right? We're $250,000 in the red.
Now, people are also theorizing that Idubbbz made this.
Where is the bass in these people's voices? Why do you think I'm on Twitch? To add a little oomph, a little fucking vigor to this goddamn soy-ciety. Holy shit.
Poorly constructed content cop to increase his relevancy right before the event. But the thing is, he was so focused on backstabbing his best friend Ethan, he actually forgot to even promote the event on that video. And obviously I'm guessing that he did not predict that the content cop would backfire so massively and
mullet and dirty mustache, opinion invalid, and school zone access revoked.
Completely ruin his event. So we're just gonna go over all of the updates
losing money that could never be me.
One by one, starting with the main fighter of the event, Harley, saying, "I'm not boxing." You gonna cancel Creator Clash 3 yet, Anissa and Idubbbz? Good call, man. We all see how seriously you take this and how hard you've worked. All of this political stuff will sadly overshadow everything. They never treated you with respect, and that convo with Nick the other night proved it. Harley, headliner from Creator Clash 3, talks about the atmosphere leading up to the event. Got people messaging me, drop out.
But I do get people messaging me that are like, you got to drop up, bro. You're gonna fucking dance monkey for people that hate you, dude. Don't even like, and it ends up getting into this place. And for me, and I don't know about the other fighters, but just for me, like, I'm just kind of like, oh, cool. The fun little charity fundraiser has now been attached to a decades-long bloody holy war in the Middle East. It's whatever.
Yep, everything comes back to Israel, Palestine.
Cool. It's not really like the
sand! They're fighting over sand!
This fun sentiment I had. So now, like, I wake up in the morning, I'm going to go to boxing. Like, I got to think about Israel and Palestine? Like, what's going on?
So that's the thing. Harley signed up for a boxing event, not some random political war with Hasan's friends just calling him out. And with Idubbbz making this content cop, he's just made it very hard for everybody on the fight. So here we are on the Creator Clash 3 page. It's supposed to happen on June 28. I highly doubt it's actually...
It's the same day as Jake Paul's boxing fight, which is just going to mog this.
Going to happen. Here's some of the fighters. Here we got Harley, the main event.
I mean, LA Beast. That's sick. That's actually sick. That is a fire fighter.
Is getting canceled now, which is why they're reaching out to Tectone, who was of similar build here. We got Tubbo versus Sapnap. I don't really care about these people. Then we got these guys. We got Odd Ones Out. We got, I don't know who these are.
What's the weight class?
These people. Then we got these guys. We got Odd Ones Out. We got, I don't know who these are. And then this person is from the Ace 3 podcast and also apparently got a panic attack when Idubbbz went behind their back and essentially just uploaded the content cop on Ethan. So putting them in a very awkward position, obviously. Now here's a quick overview of what's going on with the event by friend of the channel, Sensitive Society.
Tragic day for the 25 people who thought about going to Creator Clash 3, which is literally in a month and a half. For whatever reason, Idubbbz thought it would be smart to book it at this arena, right? This arena has a 21,000 people capacity. This is just unrealistic. They have removed all the upper bowl sitting, which was what I was just talking about. If I was Idubbbz or Anissa, I would be freaking the out. Jake Paul announced his next boxing event will be the same day as Idubbbz's Creator Clash 3. I mean,
dude, these commentators need voice changers. You know how VTubers, they never show their true self? These faceless slop tubers need some voice modulation. I can't do it.
Look at this section, dude.
Chat. He's reacting to a guy, reacting to a guy, reacting to a guy, reacting to a guy.
$112? Is Idubbbz going to personally come over and give me a hand job for this money?
Like, do these people do shots of soy sauce before they click record? Absolutely. Back in Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 2, we would call this squeakers. Bunch of fucking squeakers in chat.
I mean, Idubbbz, you gotta be realistic. No one really likes you. No one really cares about you anymore. And I think on top of that...
Jesus. I think this actually had nothing.
We're literally mogging Asmongold. We're mogging Asmongold. Asmongold is behind us because we mog him.
Thing to do with any drama with the content cop or anything like that. I don't think it had anything to do with it. I think it's just simply that the event wasn't really that interesting. It's basically compounding off of the lack of interest from the previous event, a reduction in people that are willing to be title card fighters. And I think all of these things happening came together and it damaged the event in a way that I don't think is recoverable. I don't think Creator Clash is really going to do very well. I don't think they're going to make their money back. And I think overall it's going to be a negative.
Shout out to Sensitive. And yeah, I completely agree. They basically completely messed up the whole thing.
Thanks, Asmongold.
Booked a place way too big, started canceling seats left and right, panicking because nobody's showing up, and everything is just sort of going downhill, so much so that Idubbbz ended up contacting Ice Poseidon to actually fight, a guy who he's never even talked to. Is Idubbbz getting desperate? With Creator Clash 3 just weeks away, Ice Poseidon reveals that he denied an offer to box Idubbbz at the event. I think he's struggling to find people to box him, if I had to guess.
I got invited to box Idubbbz in his event.
All right, on the other side of the equation, you got Ice Poseidon, who sounds like he just fucking ate rocks. Can we get a normal, stock, human, default voice with a bit of testosterone?
His boxing event for Creator Clash, but I had to decline that because if I were to lose the Idubbbz, I would be extremely embarrassed, and I'm not very good at boxing, so I was like, no, I can't do that.
You guys have the
We contacted Ice Poseidon to go box. Guys!
same stats though.
I know he has 2 losses, I have 2 losses, but that's what I'm saying. If I lose to him, there's no coming back from that, because he's like a skinny dude.
I think you'd win.
I mean,
And I think everyone would be wanting you to win.
There's just nothing going on. There's nothing going on in this car. You couldn't fucking scrape 2 brain cells together if you tried.
yeah, but I have no training at all, and it's very soon, so I would gas out in 5 seconds, and then I'd be. I was just wondering why he asked me, because me and him have nothing to do with each other. Like I've never even spoke to him, so I don't know why he asked me to box him. Like surely he has other options.
Maybe he wants your clout.
I mean, he definitely has more clout than I do. But I don't know. I think he's
Chat, I'm scared. Who are these people?
struggling to find people to box him, if I had to guess, because I don't know why he would ask me.
Yeah, this is just really awkward. Idubbbz scraping the absolute bottom of the barrel to find fighters for his event, and actually getting rejected by Ice Poseidon is something I could never live down, honestly. That is like the most embarrassing thing that's probably happened. And you know the funniest thing about all of this is that there is no shot that Idubbbz and his group of friends agree with Ice Poseidon's general demeanor, controversy, politics, or just general edginess, right? And Idubbbz and his group of friends are so quick to discount anybody that sort of goes against their opinions, but suddenly when they're desperate for an event and to fill slots, they will invite literally anybody, and it's just not looking good.
Literally?
For icons here. And if you thought they couldn't get any more desperate, apparently they were also going to invite Tectone to the event. And if you haven't been keeping up, Tectone is a pretty big streamer who recently got banned on Twitch for calling Frogan gravitationally challenged. And despite him clearly making enemies with Idubbbz and his group of friends, Idubbbz still has to crawl to him and beg him to participate. He sent him a message asking his weight, which is obviously related to the event. So here's a quick recap of the whole Tectone versus Frogan.
I don't know who any of these people are. Why should I care? Because, dude, you're not. You mean you don't keep up with the minutia of celebrities?
Lore, and then we'll get to the messages Idubbbz sent.
The U.S. military has conducted some of the most horrific.
No, Frogan. You meant it.
U.S. military? Who? I hope you get PTSD.
That is a real quote. You want to tell me that's a misspeak?
You mean I touch grass? That's right. Except the only grass that I touch is Cheeky. Use cheeky.com/Philion. 10% off. Best soap in the game.
Base?
The rest of the world is not going to fall for this revisionist history you are so desperately trying to push. Thank God no man is ever going to have to see that. The only thing that sees the inside of you is the McDonald's Big Mac.
Yes, I got banned for 2 weeks for simply calling Frogan large. I'm not sorry, to be honest. I stand by what I said. However, going forward, I'll do my best to not bring her up again. That was a lie. He does bring her up again. But I do think it's crazy how I get banned.
I'd rather rewatch Dr. Mike's Blood Eagle Aftermath video again and then sniff his blood drains. Blood Eagle is diabolical. That's literally what it was. Fucking Viking-ass torture surgery. Ash to grass type of soap, just like my squats, that's right.
Banned for 2 weeks for calling someone fat, and the things you see on a daily basis on Hasan or Denim stream is 10,000 times worse, and they don't even get a warning. Anyways, see you.
You can see if there is killer instinct in their eyes. If not, they are victims.
Live on YouTube. Now, Denim's, another Hasan groupie, was actually gloating about this, saying, do nothing and win. Only problem is Tectone actually got unbanned immediately after. I got my suspension lifted for good behavior. Now, the funny thing is, this was Tectone's, quote, good behavior. The only enemy you got is a salad, and apparently he was banned like minutes after this. My theory is that he started streaming on YouTube, and Twitch sort of panicked. They didn't want to lose another streamer, so I don't know, they might have unbanned him for that. Now that we know Harley dropped out from Creator Clash 3, let's do some investigating. Was Tectone slated to be Harley's replacement? Tectone revealed yesterday that Idubbbz asked him what his weight was in DMs. Before I get invited to that, I'm not interested.
Idubbbz DM'd me and he asked, how much do you weigh? So I think he's gonna try to get me in Creator Clash, which, by the way, before that comes out and before that gets invited, before I get invited to that, I'm not interested. I'm good. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I'm good, man. I'd rather do a fighting event that isn't run by somebody who stabs their best friend in the back.
Tectone's pretty fucking based, huh? Damn. Damn. I didn't know he had it like that.
Yeah, no, I'm good, man.
Absolutely based response from Tectone here. In my opinion, they do not deserve to have any courtesy because for all we know, they're just gonna mess up the event again.
These people need to be locked up and forced to watch Jordan Peterson.
And no money will actually end up going to charity. It will go straight into their pockets or the rest of the fighters. And the main reason anyone is interested in this event is because of the charity, right? So if that's not going to happen, I don't really care about anything else. Not to mention they are
I don't care about the charity.
literally all just horrible people and don't deserve any of the success this brings. Now, the funny thing is, the Tectone and Frogan situation doesn't actually end there. We actually have some updates as to why Tectone was unbanned on Twitch. Apparently, he had to fill out a survey on Twitch to show his good behavior, right? And just be like sort of remorseful for calling her, you know, whatever, molecularly expansive. And this survey had a
Calorically dense.
very interesting question on it that pretty much exposes Twitch's massive hypocrisy.
So I was banned for 2 weeks. And why did I get banned? Because I called
Some would say Rubenesque.
Frogan a piece of shit. In the TOS, it literally says they have to state that they're bothered by it. And Frogan has gone on record saying she was not bothered by it. She said, oh, it's such a boring insult. Get something new. It doesn't bother me. She said that. So first of all, why the did I get banned for that? Secondly,
If I ever get banned for calling somebody a high-calorie individual, I'm going to be really tight.
here's how I got unbanned. I had a survey to take.
A harpoon target?
A survey to take if I was a good boy or not. It's a new thing that Twitch was rolling out, which I thought was honestly a pretty good idea. But on that survey, you had to answer a couple questions. A streamer is talking about a physical injury they experienced in the military. Someone in chat tells the streamer that they deserve their injury and should have been killed. You know what the correct answer was for does this behavior violate Twitch's community guidelines?
I'm going to guess no. Because they're not physically harming the person. Which is insane. Because it highlights their hypocrisy.
Yes, because Twitch does not allow users to wish harm or death on others. Well, that's crazy, because why the f*** is...
Oh, well, I stand corrected. Because I would only assume that if they didn't enforce it. Because Frogan is on the record for wishing PTSD upon veterans in the military. And then she doubled down the next day and said, oh, based? Yeah, I meant it.
Frogan going live wishing death and harm on American soldiers on a daily f***ing basis. You know she never got banned for that? You know she got banned for the race tier list? But she never got banned for the PTSD comment. So what the f*** is that? Just a crazy question. It's just an answer that I would like to know. Would be great. Because here's the reality. Did I deserve the ban? Yes. But my anger isn't about that. You can't pick and choose who you're going to enforce the rules on. It needs to be everybody.
The race tier list, what the fuck? Oh, you don't know about that? They had the Arab supremacy tier list, where at the top it was, you could say Habibi, and then at the bottom, you like Sabra hummus. I mean, dude, Idubbbz talks about this in the latest content cop. Where have you been, bro?
Getting equal treatment. Because if they don't, that's where resentment lies. That's where anger builds. That's where frustration and tension are. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that is just completely insane to me. Twitch are such open, giant hypocrites. It's actually crazy, which is...
Dude, I love Twitch. I love twitch.tv/Philion TV. Because in an ocean full of soy, I'm a based shark. And there's blood in the water. It's a lot of blood in the water.
Partly why I sort of stopped streaming on that website. I used to stream on it a couple of years back, and yeah, I knew this was coming. I knew their downfall was planned because they had horrible moderation back then as well. But how does she not get banned for that? And he gets banned for pointing out that she's Twitch obviously does not enforce their TOS equally at all. You obviously get special privileges if you're part of Hasan's Goon Squad, and you obviously get plus 10 privilege points if you support terrorists, right? If you openly support terrorists, you're probably on the moderation team, honestly. You're probably a Twitch staff, like an employee. Now we gotta move on to
Houthi pirate, by the way. Tim Houthi Chalamet.
H3 just making fun of their absolute failure, because obviously Ethan is very happy that their event is failing after his literal best friend backstabbed him. Ethan throws shots at Ian and Anissa after Harley announced his withdrawal from Creator Clash 3. Maybe Tectone will join the card. And here we have H3. How's that content cop working out for you guys? Maybe Tectone will join the card. And then we got a post just highlighting his tweet. Tectone already said no, but I'm sure Hasan is a supportive pal and will jump in. Obviously, Hasan, you should join this event. Save Your Friends charity event. Yeah, I'm sure it will be a complete success with Hasan in the ring. Now, people are pointing out that Idubbbz might have to refund absolutely everybody as well. With Harley dropping out of Creator Clash, anyone is now entitled to a full refund, which they were previously refusing. Florida rules, it seems, upon the postponement, substitution of either participant, or cancellation of the main event, or the entire program of matches. The promoter shall refund the full purchase price of a ticket to each person presenting a ticket for a refund within 30 days after the schedule date of the event. Within 10 days after the expiration of the 30-day period, the promoter shall pay all unclaimed ticket receipts to the commission. This is absolutely wonderful news, because this means that Idubbbz is absolutely going broke, bro. He has literally lost everything. Here's what people are saying.
Dude, if I had a pipsqueak preying on my downfall, I'm just saying we'd have some problems. Could you imagine that? Getting fucking trolled by an absolute twink, a squeaker, laughing at me? Nah!
Ethan has been stacking so many W's lately. The content cup destroyed Ian more than it did Ethan. That's what I was saying from the very beginning when I got all those idiots in my comment section. Oh, actually, this was a good content cup. I told you it was a complete disaster. And that's exactly what's happening. It's ruining his life, essentially. Refunds imply people actually bought tickets. Now, apparently Idubbbz's Discord is also melting down. Idubbbz's Discord mod says that they're not discussing Creator Clash at this time after the shocking Harley Morenstein withdrawal. More info to come. Is Harley off Creator Clash for real? He was my favorite fighter. We're not discussing Creator Clash at this time. More info to come, actually. But I'll tell you what the more info is. The event is canceled. The event will be canceled.
Is this yet another YouTube criticism vid with a faceless commentator? Yes, that's precisely what this is. Now, Pegasus does show his face, as far as I'm aware. You know, people know what he looks like. It's just, this so happens to be a faceless video.
Or because they won't be able to raise any money for charity. Nobody's going to be fighting. Nobody's going to be attending. This is wonderful, guys. Obviously, I support money going to charity, right? But the thing is, Ian and Anissa... Wonderful, guys.
You don't actually have to turn your foot over. Classic noob mistake.
Obviously, I support money going to charity, right? But the thing is, Ian and Anissa are so incompetent that whatever event they put on has been historically shown to not generate any money for charity, has been historically shown to be a complete flop and a complete, you know, essentially just false promises, right? So I would rather their event fail and somebody more competent actually puts on something and raises money for charity. For example, C-Dog VA and Chris Broad always put on this cyclothon, which raises a ton of money for the Immune Deficiency Foundation or the IDF, and I think they raised like $1 million. So there's clearly people out there who are much more competent to handle this stuff, and just because I want their event to fail doesn't mean that I want charity to fail as a whole.
I do. Just give me the money. I will do more with it than any of these charities, and that's that Third Eye Global guarantee.
Now, Ethan's also been posting some absolutely golden clips regarding Idubbbz and Anissa because they have gone back on pretty much everything they've ever said. In this clip, Idubbbz basically says that he would literally neck himself, then get involved in the drama.
I'd love to hear your thoughts. No, I'm not going to give you our thoughts on the H3 content nuke. I refuse.
We let me put it this way. We're very busy.
And yeah, if we let
What would be my first initiative as CEO of Third Eye Global Charities? I'd run a couple shell corporations through the Seychelles and Curacao and find a way to commit tax fraud and funnel it all back to me.
any of that enter our fucking lives, we kill ourselves.
Ooh, yeah, that one just did not age well at all. And honestly, yeah, obviously I don't wish them any harm or whatever. I just think they should take some time off the internet and just go touch grass. You know?
What you really need to do is touch this grass. Soap. Use cheeky.com/Philion 10% off, baby. It's the only grass you need to be touching.
You don't need to be online. You don't need to involve yourself with all these degenerate freaks that are just going to make you depressed. And you called it. You would be severely depressed and, you know, want to neck yourself if you got involved in all of this drama.
Dude, everyone goes for like the soy podcast setup. And I'm one to speak because I was confined to a room as well. All I'm saying is, when I drop a podcast, that set is going to be next fucking level. It's going to be different. It's going to be elevated. It's going to be unique. These podcast room and sets look like they smell, to be honest. They look stinky. Everything is so cramped and confined and maximalist. Just a bunch of shit.
And you should just not, man. You should just go live life, be happy, you know? Mudahar commented, man, Creator Class 3 might end up being the most poorly handled YouTuber event, and that's saying something. Now we gotta move on to the Hasan updates. Here he is crashing out again because he said $300 shoes are very affordable, and somebody called him out for being out of touch.
I hate this conversation because for a boot that you can wear forever, $300 is perfectly permissible as a price point.
$200,000 Porsche, by the way. My favorite millionaire socialist.
Stop fucking doing this bullshit. Stop doing this fucking bullshit in the chat where you're like, dude, I'm not actually signing off from my mommy's Connecticut McMansion. I'm actually literally living in a fucking pile of trash right now. How dare you say that? How dare you demonstrate bourgeois decadence?
Yeah, now I kind of understand why he was defending Pokimane when she said eat the rich, right? As if they aren't like worth 10, 20 million dollars. Dude, I can't imagine this existence. Just imagine just streaming 10 hours a day.
$300 for a quality boot is actually legit. Yeah, but it's coming from Hasan, so it's inherently soy. See how that works?
And constantly just getting triggered by your chat just like mauling because
boots only last forever on feet that never know a day's toil. That's right, you got soft hands there, brother.
you keep saying stupid shit. Hasan defending North Korea feels like a new low. There's no way. This person says, I'm actually so tired of white people. North Korea is actually a beautiful socialist country with free housing and healthcare that's been battling U.S. imperialism for decades. How does he defend this? Ironic, since DPRK is, as a matter of historical fact, a direct victim of U.S. imperialism. So while this person is a rose-colored view, she's still closer to reality on that acknowledgement alone than every single American who thinks they pull trains that eat rat shit for breakfast. He's got to be trolling. There's no way, man. There's no way. Anyways, guys, another wonderful day to be alive. Hope you guys are enjoying like the nearly daily uploads now. We're kind of going crazy, but yeah, click this video or you have to live with Idubbbz's haircut forever.
That will never be me.